What's up, guys? I've been listening to all your comments and stuff, and I know you guys have been really enjoying all the cup holder reviews. So today we are going to step inside of a 1995 BMW 325i, also known as the Juicy Big Boost Wildberry Dream. Here's a quick look at the machine from the outside. Now, if you don't notice, this car has been fully gutted and removed of all things that would make it not drive like an impeccable machine. But this is a cup holder review, so I won't focus on things like the fact that the DCT transmission paddle shifters are broken. It's gonna be hard to review the cup holder since it appears as if there is none. However, here's the trick. When you have a drink, you simply remove this thing right here. We don't need this is useless. And if you have a bottle that has a closed cap, you can insert it right in here. And I will say, although you have the inconvenience of having to have a bottle that has a cap, this is probably one of the sturdiest cup holders that I've seen in a car. This car, with its current fuel system, I believe only makes in the high 300s for horsepower wise, but I would say that I have a firm confidence that this may be the first 1,000 horsepower cup holder we've seen. However, because this car has solid mounted everything, we're gonna see a lot of vibration here. So if you have a carbonated beverage, you have to beware because it could shake and stir up your beverage, causing you to have a mess in your gutted car. Now, when you have exposed wiring like this and you go to open up a soda and it explodes everywhere, you're gonna have a mess of a problem. So even though this is our strongest rated cup holder we have ever reviewed, it is probably the worst one for that reason. Almost ready to start assembling stuff back in here. Quickly sprayed some black on the lower pieces down there just to make them look a little bit nicer. And then we'll be able to start assembling everything now. Best thing about having a high horsepower car, when you go drifting, you can make a nice little rubber ball out of all the rubber on the tires, and you can throw it at your friends like Tommy. It works better when it's hot though. This is kind of like crumbly. Yum. Paint protection film right there. This right here is the drifter's equivalent to when you poop and it all comes out as one piece. Look at that. I've got a cast mold of the inside of my fender. Alberto, $1,000 to eat this. Now the question is, how do you wash a car that has no windows without getting the seat soaked? You don't. You guys remember my trick from the R32 overflow? What I did is used a combination of degreaser, like pomade, what do they call it to wash your hands? Gojo, for the grit, and then a bunch of rocks, or not rocks, but bolts. And you kind of shake around in the areas where it was corroded inside. And then the bolts just kind of, since you can't scrub in there, will take away the stuff inside. So I'm gonna go hose this out and see how it looks after, but I have a feeling it's gonna blow your mind. Not perfect, but pretty dang good. And it's very important that I have this piece looking nice, because this is gonna be the very first thing that I put in the engine bay. It's the most important piece of any engine bay. You might be wondering why I don't use some sort of like fancy coolant overflow. My logic is the way that that one works, it tucks really nicely in here, and it makes really good use of that space, where if we had one of the other overflow ones, it would just take up a bunch of space that we don't really have. So by tucking that nice in there, actually that's not gonna be the first thing I put in the engine bay because I still have to put the harness through there, so never mind, I lied. Today, Alberto has been dealing with all of the lines underneath the intake manifold. He's basically replaced everything with all new clamps and new hose, just to make sure we don't have any leaks underneath there. And I think right now, what are you doing, just like permanently mounting the actual manifold? Yeah, I'm adjusting the throttle bodies. Yeah. Since the adjustment is a little bit different because it's a bigger intake. Yep. So you have to calibrate each rod so all 6 throttle bodies open at the same time. Well, this thing is almost ready to go in the car. Just gotta kind of tidy up some last things, and then in here just gotta mount some of the stuff and get it out of the way, and we should be able to see what she looks like in there. Got a package from the homies over at Dishworks, and we get to start playing with some of the fuel stuff for this car. So we've got a nice set of 1000cc top feed injectors to go with our new fuel rail. These are the same injectors we literally use in all of the cars. Obviously not the same CC, but we trust Dishworks on all our builds, and they are kind enough to help me out on these quick timeline builds and try to get us what we need in time, so very much appreciated. We're also going to be doing their DW400 in-tank E85 safe fuel pump. This is the same pump that I run in my S13. It's one of the highest flowing in-tank pumps on the market. This will be more than enough for our 450, 500 horsepower goal in this car. And then we also have their stainless, reusable, washable fuel filter setup, the same one that we were literally just cleaning the other day on the Skyline, so you guys already know how rad it is to have something like this on the car. And of course, we'll be doing all E85 safe lines to go with the whole fueling kit. As you guys know, when it comes to like full engine refreshes and everything, attention to detail is really important to me. So one of the things that I've already done, just went ahead and put a nice coat of paint on the brake booster, but nice little touch that's always important to me as well. Something as simple as just taping over this little logo just really adds to it and makes it look so much more satisfying. Look at that. Good as new. Another very important thing too, if you guys ever buy a remanufactured brake booster, you'll notice they come like kind of like raw, polished, and they look really nice, but they will instantly rust. And I've seen people run into this issue before, go through all the work to put it on their car, and then like a week later it looks super rusty. So always make sure that you paint these. On cars too, like S chassis where you have, well obviously if you're a left-hand drive, where you have it on the same side as all your exhaust stuff, if you are too lazy to get a nice paint job on it, you can always wrap it in that heat wrap reflective tape, and that'll help save you from cooking your brake boosters, which I've done before. So just a couple tips. Another like little detail that helps make this thing look way nicer, I actually just did this upper cowl in black trim paint, and it came out way better than I thought it would. The can kind of sprays like a little speckled, and it just kind of has that like OEM plastic look. So just another little touch that is going to make it look a lot nicer. I took some Brillo pads to, you know, the master and just kind of scuffed that up a little bit to make it look nicer. But it's getting there slowly but surely. Probably should go ahead and masking tape all this stuff off so I don't drop any tools or scratch it, but I'll do that in a bit. Kind of hit a dead end with the RB going into the R33 tonight. We need a blind hole puller, and the one that we have is at my house. So since we want to go to the UCF car meet, what we're going to do is wait and do this tomorrow morning. But it's still going to be in the same video. But if you're wondering why we had like that day gap, we just didn't want to stay up super late, drive back to my house, and drive back here and do it. So we'll do that tomorrow, and then hopefully the goal is by the end of this video to get the engine in the car. But we got to do that so we can place the pilot bearing and get the new clutch in, and should be sweet. Finally taking the time to fit my roof wing for the JZX 100. Kind of technique is to put like a piece of masking tape and then just put a little tear in it once you figure out where it is, so that way when you're putting it back on, you can line it up just by matching it with the tape. You said we need to come over to your side of hair?
Yeah, just a hair.
I was just walking around UCF going to get some Gringos Locos. For whatever reason, I always run into the coolest YouTubers here. David Pat, what are you doing here?
What?
That's a rare
occurrence. I just got lost. I went for a walk in Atlanta and I somehow ended up here.
Can we tell them what you're in town for, or is that a secret?
No, yeah, sure.
Yeah.
I'm here for VMP, VMP Performance. That's in kind of sort of near Daytona.
Mustang stuff, right?
Mustang stuff, yeah. And that's pretty much it. I got a meet and greet on Saturday from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. And then after that, hopefully I'll hang out with Adam a little bit more.
Sick.
Sick.
Literally same exact color as my S15. It'd be so funny if my S15 was also here so I could compare the color in the same lighting. Oh, wait, it is. We're going to the UCF car meet. Okay, bye. Damn, this Challenger's sick. I love that color. I think this is the, I don't know, it might be a fast one. I like this thing. This thing's cool. In case you didn't know, David Patterson has a hard time with parking. But it's okay, we still like him. In this situation, we're gonna call Tommy my dad. Dad's not gonna be happy with me. I'm a little upset right now. Do you know what happened? I don't know if you could tell.
That you missed a gear on a sequential? That's what it sounded like.
Fourth gear's gone.
No way.
Not even joking. How did that even happen? Seriously.
I don't know, but
that's like,
at all.
That's not a fun repair. So, this is the situation where we try to look at the glass half full, because we just took a very expensive race car to a UCF college car meet and blew a gear out of my transmission. That's very expensive. However, the good news of this is it happened going to a UCF car meet and not in competition, because that would have just cost me a competition. So, I think we learned, what?
You know what I would have done?
What?
If this was competition?
Going up a gear and turned up the NOS.
Exactly.
Okay.
That's why you have so many options with this thing.
So, one thing that I was told, but I wanted to really go with the 6-speed, was that the 5-speed is much stronger when you have Samsonas, because the gears can be bigger, where the 6-speed they're a little bit smaller, not as strong. So I don't know what the solution is going to be. I don't know if we can maybe rebuild mine into a 5-speed by ordering different gears, or if we're just going to buy another gear for the 6-speed. I don't know what the best solution is going to be, but yeah, that sucks, huh? At least you got it on camera.
Oh, was that when you missed the gear?
Yeah. Well, but what do you mean? How did it, like, I think it was just maybe high RPM shifting. I was even clutched in, like, because you're supposed to be able to shift these without a clutch, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I was clutched in too. That's the weird thing.
I don't know. Let's not jump to conclusions.
No, 100%. I heard it. I felt it. Every time I go into 4th, it just bounces right back to 3rd after making a bunch of junk noises.
Really?
I mean, maybe there's possibility that there's some sort of cable or linkage. I don't know what it looks like inside, and that broke. So the selector for it.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
That is possible. I would be very surprised, but we'll see. I guess trends coming out. So the question is, you work at Injuku, right?
Yeah.
So like, I know that they're down to help me out when I break this car drifting, but I don't know what's gonna happen with this. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a weird subject, but I do think like it was a good thing that it happened on the street instead of the track.
That's why you always carry a spare transmission.
No, but like all jokes aside, I think as dumb as it is driving this car on the street, it's helped us find a lot of like random little like flaws and just bugs that we can work out rather than with expensive track time, just free driving around town, you know, figuring out the battery problem, figuring out we were having a starter issue, or like the steering rack got loose, like just little things like that. It's actually safer to find that stuff out on the street than on the track.
Yeah, because if you tried to go in 4th on like the bank,
that's what I'm saying.
it just totaled it.
Or with how loose my steering rack was, if I went in, you know, to turn to initiate, and either the steering rack just came completely loose, or just that little bit of play resulting in me not being able to flick, it's totaled out car.
Yeah.
So
That's about the only thing I agree with you on.
yeah, so like I'm trying to look at the glass half full. Like, I know a lot of people think that I'm really ungrateful, or that I don't get upset, or that I'm like spoiled or stuff when I don't act upset when stuff happens. I'm really upset, but I try to act as happy as I can to convince myself to be happy about it. But when that happened, I was like, oh, you gotta be kidding me.
Now you can't do this in 4th.
I guess, you know, I really wanted to put us putting the engine in this video, but I think I'm just gonna save it for tomorrow's video, because I'm just gonna end it on this note. So anyway, all right guys, thank you for watching. Tomorrow, be stoked. Engine's going in the R33. Later.